Hey everybody, welcome to Broadway.com's Live at 5. It is Tuesday, October 30th. What day is it?
Wicked Day,
It's Wicked Day.
We're all wearing
Happy
green.
15th anniversary, Wicked. It's also Halloween tomorrow, so
Correct.
very much in the spooky spirit. I am Ryan Lee Gilbert.
And I'm Beth Stevens.
And we are joined here in the studio by the wonderful Caitlin Moynihan.
Hello.
And we have a very,
Very
that was
cute.
very adorable. We have a very special guest with us. It's not just Wicked Day. It's a little bit of a Bronx Tale day today here as well. We have Joe Barbara joining us to talk about the national tour of the show and so much more. But before we get to Joe, why don't we go through today's top 5.
This Tony-winning duo is bringing a new show off Broadway. Well, back to Broadway.
Well, okay. We're talking about Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes.
Perhaps you've heard of him.
Maybe.
And Tommy Kail.
Mm-hmm.
And they are bringing Freestyle Love Supreme, which is their freestyle group,
Yes.
or Lynn's freestyle group, to off-Broadway's Greenwich House Theater. This is where Barrow Street was.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Now it's Greenwich House Theater.
That's
Just
right.
so you know,
Keep
that,
up.
keep up, will you? This is exciting.
It is very
quiz.
exciting.
They've
This
done
was
a
big
lot
deal.
of shows, but not recently.
Mm-hmm. They've been busy.
They've
you know.
been doing a couple
Yeah.
things. Now, Lynn is not in it. He's presenting it.
Right.
And Thomas Kail will be directing it. It begins previews on January 30th. That's 2019, which is around the corner.
Right around the corner, which I
Weirdly.
keep forgetting. Yeah.
And official opening on February 12th. So this blends hip-hop, improv theater, musical and vocal
This was a
stylings.
version of this was a big hit for a
They've
while.
had
yes,
many
while they're-
versions
yes,
of, but
exactly.
it's improv, so you never know what you're going to
Absolutely.
get. Here's who's in it: Andrew Bancroft. Oh, they have names. I'm going to give you the names. Are you ready?
Yes.
AKA Jelly Donut. What's your freestyle name?
Oh gosh.
We'll get to
yeah.
that.
Think of it.
You've got about a minute while I go through this. Arthur
Right.
Lewis, AKA Arthur the Geniuses. Bill Sherman, AKA King Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Sullivan, AKA Shockwave. These are amazing.
These are great.
Anthony Veneziale. I'm not
That's all right.
speaking properly today. AKA Two Touch, and Utkar Ambudkar, AKA UTK.
Look at that.
So who are you?
I don't think I'm clever enough to have a hip hop.
Forget it. Just RLG.
Sorry.
RLG.
Yes, it's me, RLG.
Done.
That's
Notorious
right. Yes.
RLG.
There we go.
And this Tony-winning director is bringing a new vision to this classic story.
This is very exciting. So Marianne Elliott, who has won 2 Tony Awards for directing War Horse and The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, will be directing a new staging of Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman with an all-black cast in London. Wendell Pierce, who you may know from The Wire or Treme or Selma, I believe. He will be starring as Willie Loman, and Olivier Award winner Sharon D. Clarke, who you might also know from Caroline or Change, will be playing Linda Loman. This will open at the Young Vic, not the West End. It's the Young Vic. And this will begin previews on May 1st of 2019. It will officially open on May 9th, and it will only play a limited engagement through June 29th. Very exciting.
sounds awesome.
Yeah, sounds super cool.
And a Broadway standout is helping bring a little bit more musical theater to our TV.
Oh, I love this
Okay,
girl.
how much do we love Sass
Yes,
Goldberg?
so
Just her
much.
name alone,
Yes,
Sass
she's the
Goldberg.
best.
We love her. She was in Significant Other on Broadway, as you may remember, and now, are you ready? She's also a writer, so she's got a
also-
new
she also
comedy
makes
series.
neon signs. Did you
She's
know? She's
multi-talented.
multifaceted.
Okay,
yes.
she is teaming up with Jake Wilson to write and executive produce a new musical. I just want to make sure you caught that word. Musical comedy series for NBC. That's a big network. Okay,
Yes,
wait.
it is. Yeah.
It's currently untitled, but here's how the description is, because this just
This is
this sums
this
up
reeks
the-
of Sass Goldberg.
Sums
Yeah.
up Sass. It follows Sally, who returns to New York, hoping to relive her college glory days, only to find the realities of adulthood.
They're a
Wah,
bummer.
wah, wah.
Yeah.
Also on the producing team is Jeffrey Seller, who you may know from a little show called Hamilton or
Yes.
Rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, we don't have any more information on that, but
But
I'm on
super
board.
excited for
I'm in.
her. I
I'm
can't
in.
wait.
And this Broadway favorite is kickstarting a new project.
Ciara Renee of Pippin, of course, Big Fish, Tick Tick Boom. She is raising funds for a short film that she is creating herself. She is raising these funds through Seed and Spark campaign, and it is called Ready Records, and it will be starring Ciara Renee as well. It's a short film, and it is described as a captivating musical fantasia that follows the story of a woman who must face her childhood fears and insecurities. In addition to making this film happen, she will be starting to host a 24-hour live stream on her
Wow.
Facebook, her YouTube, and her
24
Instagram channels. 24
hours.
hours. Begins at 6 o'clock this evening. She's going to have some special guests, including Ariana DeBose will be popping up. Brandon Routh, who is also like Superman. He will be making an appearance. So check all of that out and help her make her film by donating to her Seed and Spark campaign so that we can see Ready Records.
I like
Very
it.
exciting.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
good for
that.
you, Ciara.
And for these two, it's the story of tonight.
Oh, we're
Oh.
talking about the first performance for Danae Benton and Carmen Lassant in
Yes.
Hamilton on the Broadway as Eliza and George Washington, respectively, in case you didn't know. So they start tonight. I just want to remind you all, it is Wicked Day.
It is Wicked Day.
I just want to say that because
You're in
we can
green.
say- I'm wearing. So are you.
Mhm.
So is Caitlin.
Yes, so is
we
Kate-
we all
yes.
dressed up. I want to tell you about some things we have celebrating Wicked Day.
So much
assume
stuff.
you all watched the concert last night. We have a new vlog up where you get some behind the scenes. This is exclusive to us.
It
because
is.
Amanda Jane
Just
Cooper,
here.
who was sitting right here yesterday. Is Glinda on Broadway, and she's our vlogger, and she was there.
Yeah,
so
she got exclusive content.
lots
for
of
you.
Glindas,
Yeah.
lots of Glindas, lots of Elphabas. And we also have our character portraits that Paul teased yesterday. Now
Sure.
you can see them all
Unbelievable.
by our photo director, Caitlin McNaney. Very beautiful portraits. And if you haven't checked out our Instagram page yet, you gotta, because it's
It's
pretty special.
Unbelievable. Yes.
special.
And we also did a whole breakdown with gifts and everything.
Yeah,
we
we
covered it all.
we went wild on the wicket.
We did. Yes.
As
and it's
we
all
did.
very good. But now
I'm gonna make way.
everyone, it's time to talk to Joe Barbara. Beth, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Caitlin, why don't you introduce our guest?
Sure thing. Guys, we have Joe Barbara with us today. He is currently starring in the first national tour of A Bronx Tale, which is great because he knows what he's doing because he was in the show when it was on Broadway. He also appeared on Broadway in Grease, which he also took on the road after he was on Broadway. I see a theme happening here. I couldn't think of the word. A theme happening. His screen credits include All My Children, Another World, and Law and Order SVU. And be sure to follow at A Bronx Tale Tour to stay up to date on everything that the tour is doing, where it's going, and what the cast is up to. Please leave all of your questions in the comments down below. And please welcome Joe and Ryan.
Hello there, sir.
Hi, Ryan. How are
Thank you
ya?
so much for coming by.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, I'd like to show off what a gentleman you are.
So here's the situation. So when I was asked to do the show, I did
Yeah.
a little research and I saw my friend Christy Altamare.
Yes.
She came with bringing gifts,
She
bearing
did.
gifts,
Yeah.
cronuts.
She did.
I was like, now
she's so
see,
good.
Now she
to
set
us.
the bar, and I have to match it. So I called my friend Jerome at Genos Pastry.
Oh my
in,
goodness.
in the Bronx. On Belmont Avenue, actually 187th Street.
Okay.
And in fact, Geno's is featured in our show. It's one of the
Absolutely.
sides
I
of
was
the
gonna
show.
say, that's right.
So I called Jerome and I said, "Can you bring me a box? Can I get a box of cannoli?" So he says, "Sure." So I go to get cannoli. So wait. So then I call Chaz and I'm telling Chaz, "I'm going to the neighborhood. I'm going to go get some cannolis from Geno's." He says, "You got to go to Mike's. You got to go around the corner. Go to Mike's. Tell Mike that I sent you over there and ask for David, and he's gonna just say hello to him."
My
So I go,
goodness.
so I come
Uncanny.
out of Geno's. I said, "Let me run over to Mike's real quick just to make Chaz, happy that I saw everybody
Sure.
wanted me to see."
Sure.
And then I go to Mike's, and Mike's like, "Where are you going? You got to do Broadway.com, 5 at 5? Hang on a second, I'll make you some sandwiches." So I said, "No,
Look
I don't
at
have time." He
this.
goes, "I'll take me 2 minutes." So I come bearing
Look at this.
a box of
This
cannolis and some small sandwiches
Future
for the
future
crew.
Broadway.com live at 5 guests. I want you to see where the bar has been set now.
And yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You
So-
are
Eat the
you're too
cannolis.
good to us. Yeah, let's
So
give
Mike's
these
Deli
let's give
and
some.
Geno's Pastries.
Oh, we got
Oh, look at this.
Can they see them? Oh, yeah, put the cards
Oh
in
yeah,
there.
no. Look at these
you see? Yeah.
unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sir, you are a gentleman.
All right.
Thank you. See, Christy,
Pressure's
make
off.
note for your future appearance. Thank you so much. That's so thoughtful of you. It's so wonderful to have you here.
Thanks.
Besides the sandwiches and the cannolis, to talk about A Bronx Tale.
I know.
People absolutely love this
Yeah.
show. It's going on the road. You're going to be able to see it all across the country if you didn't get a chance to see it here. You, sir, have been involved with it for a while now, and it's rare to get so many Broadway people from a Broadway
Right.
show to take a show like this on the road.
I think we have 11 cast members that have been with the Broadway company that are now
Absolutely.
on the tour. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
What was it about? Why did you want to do it? Why did you want to stick with?
Oh God! Well, it's such a great story. I mean, it's such a fantastic story, and the team is so good, and Chaz is so wonderful, and Actually, Chaz made me an offer I couldn't refuse. But
Right.
no, but it's such a great story, and it's Alan Menken music, and I just felt like we weren't finished telling the story yet, you know. And I got a chance to play Sonny about 40 times on Broadway. I understudied Nick Cordero and then Chaz himself. But now to take it on the road and to have Sonny to be responsible to carry his story into the rest of the country, I feel like it's a great responsibility, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about working with, I mean, you worked with so many incredible people that are involved with the show. The list goes on. But what is it like working with Chaz Palumbo to take a story that means so much to him, his life story, and to be able to do this with it?
First of all, Chaz is one of the greatest people I've ever met. He's just a wonderful man. He's generous. He's genuine. He cares. He loves the story. He loves the actors. He's an actor's best friend. He just roots for you. He cheers for you. He really is a great guy. And he's been very generous with his information about his life because it's his story. I mean, he was the kid. So he's been very generous with that, and he's very supportive, and he doesn't expect anyone to fit into some sort of cookie cutter mold of what he thinks that this character was originally. He really allows you, as an actor, he allows you to find the character, to find what you can bring to the character, but still helps to sort of put you in the right ballpark. And he's just, it's the best of all worlds.
Yeah, and the cast that's been put together for this thing, I know this kind of gets thrown around a lot about, they're such a great cast, they're the nicest people. But
everybody
says
says that.
cast, truly, we just had Joey and Brianna Marie in here. We did an interview with Richard H. Blake. You have incredible people put together for the show.
Yeah.
What is it like working with this company?
Fun. It's really fun. I mean, these people are genuinely fun.
Yeah.
I'm probably the least fun. Of
No.
all of us.
Look at this.
Well, besides that, but they're really nice people, and I think it comes from the type of story we're telling.
Yeah.
I think the tone comes from the top. I think Chaz sets that tone. I think Jerry Zaks has always preached from day one about being nice to each other.
Right.
I mean, from day one, if there's one thing Jerry would say to every group that ever was put together that I was a part of, it was to be nice to each other, be kind to each other.
I think it reflects in the work that all of you put out.
I think it
as well,
does.
too.
I really do. I think it does. I think it all comes from the top.
Yeah, and I mean, just this score by Alan Menken and Glenn Slater is just unbelievable. What is it like to sing these songs to be?
I mean, it's Alan Menken.
Yeah.
We had.
Say no more.
I have to say, one of the greatest moments in my whole experience with A Bronx Tale was we had a party at Chaz's house, and he invited the whole cast up, and Alan was there, and Alan sits down at the piano.
Getting a front row seat to an Alan Menken concert.
I mean,
right.
he sits down at the piano and starts playing his hits. 93
I'll
hours
bury
later,
me here. Yeah.
we're still standing. It goes on and on. He starts with Little Shop, and he goes into Little Mermaid, he goes into Beauty and the Beast, and it just goes on and on and on. You're like, oh my God, every one of these songs. And every time he starts playing a new song, you hear this big groan like, oh,
right.
from
absolutely.
everybody. And just stand around him and be singing these songs with him. It was a moment. It was
Right.
one of those moments that, you'll keep with you forever.
And this show is such a huge crowd pleaser. People walk out of that theater after seeing the show just in the best mood. You've had a front row seat to watching audiences react. How do you know audiences are going to react to this as it goes to cities all across the country? Preview it for them.
Well, honestly, I mean, people always tell us that they cry, and it's not really. I don't think it's a sad story. I think it's an inspirational story, but people, it affects them emotionally, and because it's about family and it's about love. It really is. It's about these two men that love this kid so much, and I mean that speaks to everybody.
Right.
They come at it from different ways, but they just love this kid so much, and what more can you say? It affects people. People cry. It's funny, but people are very emotionally affected. I think they think about their fathers a lot. I think they think about their mothers. I know for my sake, there's one song, and it's actually the "Look to Your Heart" reprise. The first day of rehearsal, when I was just sitting there and I hadn't heard all the music yet, and I heard that song, I had all I could do to keep it together because it affected me. I'm a father of 3 boys, so you have that.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm also a son, and it affected me in so many ways. It affected me as a son. It made me think about my dad. And as a father, it made me think about my kids. And
Yeah.
when you can do that in a musical, you know, I always say it's a musical for a lot of guys that aren't big musical theater people.
Right.
You know, I mean, a lot of men out there, you know, construction workers are like, musical theater, you know, right? But you come see A Bronx Tale, and those guys are choked up.
Absolutely. I want to talk about you a little bit as well.
Enough about me.
A little while back, I read this incredible story about you, as Caitlin mentioned in your intro, that you were part of the 1994 revival of Grease at the Eugene O'Neill. But your journey to getting to be a part of that is absolutely incredible. And if you would indulge us and just tell us that story, it's absolutely,
Do we have enough time for this?
it's an incredible journey that you had to it.
I'll cut it down. Well, so in high school, I was a huge Happy Days fan growing up as a little kid, you know, and I just always wanted to be part of the 50s and that music and that doo-wop and the rock and roll stuff, and amazing that I did Grease and A Bronx Tale. But I always wanted to do it. Our director in high school would not do it, just didn't want to be bothered with a musical. I don't know, he just wouldn't do it. So I put together these kids, and we did a little thing of summer nights when I was in high school, and I directed it, and it was, you know, it was great and it was fun, but it was at a pep rally. It wasn't like that fulfilling. And I always wanted to do it. And I didn't care where I did it, and I didn't care what I played. I just wanted to be a part of the production of Grease. And it never quite worked out. So I'm doing Tony and Tina's wedding, and I hear they're going to bring the show to Broadway. And I went to my agent. It was a very small agency. It was about the size of this table, really. And I said, you have to get me an audition for this. And I didn't have any Broadway credits or anything close to that. But my agent said, take the envelope with the submissions down to the casting director yourself. Instead of it was when they used to bring actual, it was like before the technology, headshots in a manila envelope. And she said, bring it down there. So I was, okay. So I bring it down, and I handed it to the casting director, who happened to come up. It was like a back stairway. It was construction. And I said, hey, by the way, my picture's in here. And he goes, no, you're not right for this. And he's actually said, I think I was 24 at the time. He's like, you're too old. And he starts to close the door, and I'm like, how can I be too old? Travolta was 25 when he did the movie.
Right, exactly.
And he's like, no, we're looking for 17-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids. That's it. And he closes the door. And I was like, that can't be the end of this. Wait a second, something's wrong with this. That was like over in like 12 seconds. And this was like my dream to do this show. So I thought, well, you know what? If he's already got in his mind that I'm too old for Dana Kaniki, I didn't care what I did. I'll be the teen angel. So there was an extra white tuxedo, an extra one at Tony and Tina's wedding, lying around. And I remember Frankie Avalon with a white sweater. But at the time, I think I thought it was a tuxedo. So I took the white tuxedo. And it made its way back to my apartment. And I...
It just ended up there.
And I bought a boombox from the Wiz, and I recorded Beauty School Dropout. I know you're not supposed to do all that, but I did.
Hey,
I did all these
you were taking your
things,
shot,
right?
Yeah.
And I was gonna go down there the next day and say, you know, if you won't see me for one of the teenagers, I'll do the teen angel. And I got the white tuxedo, and I dressed in the hallway outside the casting director's office. I had a tape recorder with Beauty School Dropout that I played on my guitar, queued up, ready to go. And I was ready if he said you have if he said you can have an audition, then I was okay, fine. If he said no, then I was gonna hit play and go, then take 10 seconds, and I was gonna do it. And so I walked in. I look ridiculous in this white suit with the boombox. And now I walked in the front door, and the receptionist says, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to see so and so." And he comes down the hall and he sees me. He's like, you know, I told you to get out of here on Friday. Blah, blah. I said, no. See me for the Teen Angel. And he's like, no, we already have a star doing that. It's already cast. And I was like, that was the one thing I didn't think of. Right? It's like, man. So I walk out and I'm standing in the hallway and I'm like, what did I not? There had to be a response to that I didn't think of. I thought I had all the bases covered. And the receptionist comes out and says, why don't you go to the open call? So I go to the open call, and I'm thinking, he sees me twice. He's obviously not looking for me, for something that he... So I go anyway, and I do the song, and she sits there, and the assistant sits there, and nothing happens. So nothing happens for like 2 weeks, and then I get a call for a callback. I go to the callback, and I'm doing Beauty School Dropout again, but I could tell something was weird with the whole thing. It just didn't work. So I wrote a letter to Tommy Tune, and I had this whole thing, and I found his address, and I had a friend of mine drop it off at his doorman. Because I had met him like years ago. I was working on Miss USA, and he was there, and so I met him. I'm like, remember me? There was a connection. And that didn't work out. So nothing. So years went by, and I ended up on a soap opera.
Right, that's right, yeah.
I ended up on Another World. And my gym was right next to the Eugene O'Neill where Grease was playing.
Sure.
And I'd see that marquee every day. I'm like, oh, well. But I could sleep at night because I knew I left no stone unturned.
Right, yeah.
And I'm having lunch with a reporter from Soap Opera Digest or Update, one of those magazines, and the editor of the magazine is there, and Grease is playing on the TV screen. And this is like a year and a half later, so I'm over it. But I see it, I'm like, oh, check it out, Grease is on. And I get excited, and I start singing. You know, I start telling them about the difference between All Choked Up and You're the One That I Want. And the editor says, did you ever audition for this Broadway show? I go, oh.
Did I?
Yeah. I got thrown out and the whole thing. And I told him the story, and next thing you know, a week later, my agent gets a phone call. We'd like you to come in and audition for Grease. And I go in and audition for Grease, and they're like, yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
just such one of those stories that, and I was riveted as I was reading,
Yeah.
and already knew what had happened, but
Yeah.
was just so committed to that tenacity.
It's just, well, you know what? And the fact that, I mean, I would never show up at a casting director's office now, unannounced, just unsolicited, walk in, hi, I'm here, I'd like to audition. You know, I wouldn't do that. But,
Sure.
but at the time when you're young and you're just, you know what? You have to take a shot.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we have a lot of young people that watch, and that I knew this story
Yeah.
would be inspirational to them.
And you know what? What the great thing is, even though it didn't work out because of what I did originally,
Right.
What I did originally is what made it work out. Because if I didn't have
Absolutely.
that story to tell at that time to the right person,
Absolutely.
it never would have happened. So
Absolutely.
it did actually pay off.
No, very, very cool. And
Wow.
speaking of those people that are watching,
Yes.
do they have questions
Yes.
for Joe?
Of
Fire
course.
away.
Well, first of all, I just want to take a moment. You said so casually that you were at Chaz Palumbo's house at a party and Alan Menken started playing on the piano. You said that way too casually. I just need to take
we didn't
a
let that
moment.
moment breathe.
I just needed to let that moment sink
Right.
in. But that kind of goes off with the question is, like, do you ever kind of like sit back and go, okay, this is my life now. This is what I'm doing.
You know what? To some extent, I think it's become normal for me. I talk to Chaz basically every day. You know, he'll call me after every performance and say, hey, how was it tonight? How'd it go? You know, like he just cares so much. And we talk a lot. So he's become like a friend that I don't think of, you know, in that movie star kind of way anymore. Alan, you know,
That's another story.
you know, I mean, I see him, and it's great, but it's, you know, he's still Alan Menken. He's got 8 Academy Awards, and it's just, I mean, the music that comes out of him is just, it's really affected generations.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
You know, I don't know what you say about that, but no, Chaz has become a real a friend.
Cool. I love that. Lisa says, touring productions seem like such a well-oiled machine. And what about touring is particularly a challenge for you?
Well, you're in a new space. You're in a new hotel room, a new city, a new theater. And everything is supposed to be the same, but inevitably things are going to be a little bit different, a little bit off. So you just have to, you know, stick to what you do and let some of the other people sometimes take care of the technical things that may be a little bit different. The sound might be a little bit different some nights, you know, because you're in a different space. But our crew is so good that the sound, you know, we've only been to 2 cities so far, but it sounded great in Rochester, and then we sang in Schenectady, and we're like, oh, I think it even sounds better, you know. So
Yeah.
I think everybody just gets better at it as we go along. So but just the different spaces and sometimes the different hotel rooms
And you're spending a lot of time with these people. It's not, you know, it's not like, you know, at the end of the day, you get to, like, these, you travel
your
with
family.
them.
They become your family, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, do you like that aspect of it in terms of
I
being
do.
able
I mean,
to,
the thing is, I have a wife and 3 kids at
Right, and that
home,
has
so
to be-
so
yeah.
I mean, I miss them, but that's one of the difficult things about being on the road. But they understand. My wife has been a rock star with the whole thing. I mean, she takes 1 kid to crew practice and 1 kid to football and 1 kid to soccer and
Right.
works herself, and you know, so she makes this thing happen, really. You know.
I love that. We can do one more question. And so how do you approach this differently? Because you are full-time Sonny versus kind of going off and on sometimes during the Broadway run. Like, how do you approach the character differently now compared to when you're on Broadway?
Definitely. Mostly because I've had a chance to really work on it, and I've had a chance to work on it with Jerry, and to actually get direction from Jerry. Not that there wasn't direction when you're an understudy, but
Sure,
it's not
yeah,
the same, you know. it's not quite the same. And he's been great, and his notes have been fantastic. And just to be able to, I think we're all kind of rediscovering it.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I think the whole team, from Jerry and Steve, his assistant, and Chaz, Steve Eklund, has been fantastic. Everybody has sort of tried to allow me and the other people that are playing, Joey Barrero playing Calodro, and Brianna and everybody. They've really allowed us to try to find those characters within ourselves and to make the most of ourselves as these characters, and not try to put us into the mold of what somebody did before. And so it's been kind of freeing, because you get to do your own Sonny as opposed to someone else's Sonny.
Right. Overall, what would you say has been the most rewarding part for you of your Bronx Tale experience so far?
As an actor, well, I think touching people. I mean, I do this because, yes, I like to do it and I love what we do, but it's fun when you can actually touch people. And when you can actually come out the stage door and you see tears in people's eyes, or you say, God, I thought about my dad, or I called my dad after this, or when you have a connection with the audience, that's the most rewarding thing.
Absolutely. And I think you hit the nail on the head earlier too, when you mentioned the kind of people, the kind of audience members that a show like this can lure into the theater.
Right.
I think it's one of those musicals that hooks people that may think, oh, I'm not into musicals. This one gets its hooks in you, and you may come to find out, I do love musicals.
Absolutely. And then they're buying subscriptions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you for that. But
Please.
Sir, such a pleasure talking
Nice
with you
to
as
meet you.
always.
Thanks
Thank
so
you
much.
so much
Yeah,
for coming
thanks to
in.
you guys.
Thank you for all of this. You're such
Mind
a
you.
gentleman, such a sweetheart. Please come back anytime and see us.
Thanks so
and
much.
make sure you go see A Bronx Tale,
Bronx
the
Tale
national
musical.
tour, all across the country. So many stops. Make sure you get tickets to see it. You'll enjoy yourself. Thank you so much, Joe. Caitlin, why don't you take us out?
Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We are live at 5 every single day on Facebook. You can listen to us in a podcast form by searching for hashtag live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. We talk to Dusty Ray Bottoms about the new immersive Cleopatra musical off Broadway.